Start record. Hey guys, welcome to another edition of Puck Time. I'm your host today, Carmine Bianco, filling in for the Prez. With me, Andrew McGinnis and the legendary Dave Koken of WagerTalk.com. Dave, I'm going to go to you first. How's it going?
Pretty good. I had the Islanders last night. I didn't do well in baseball. I lost a couple of tough ones on the diamond, but that's going to happen now and then. But felt good about the Islanders. If you watched yesterday's show, I gave that game out and then put it out as a free play, and no problem there. And I will have one play tonight among the two games, and you might be able to figure out what it is if you watch this carefully. We'll see.
It's almost like when I talk, I pretty much give mine away sometimes. To the guys tuning in, before I go to Andrew, I'm completely bummed about last night's game, Colorado. I had a 5% play on them. They started out well, they looked good, and then I don't want to put it all on one guy, but Ian Cole takes that cross-checking penalty right in front of the ref when they're already down a man, or they just went down a man, and literally 5-on-3, Dallas scores 2 goals and takes total control of that game. One of the most frustrating things to even watch. My God. I don't want to blame it on one guy, but that was the penalty that literally turned the tide in that game. And if you believe in momentum, that was the one that changed the momentum in this game. And the Avalanche just never recovered. Andrew, how you doing, my friend?
Hey, what's up, Carm? Doing pretty good. But I like to always come on the show, and we talk about losers as much as winners, and I got my ass kicked last night. I mean, I went 12 rounds with Conor McGregor last night. It was not good. Maybe just one round, I guess, because it was that bad. But it still has been an outstanding last 30 days. Still up 24% bankroll increase. But spreading around my volume, 1 to 2 plays in both NBA, MLB, and NHL. And first night in a while where it just didn't go well with any of them. But full transparency, it's been a great last 30 days, last 60 days really, and looking forward to getting back with some plays on the ice. I know both you and I like the Islanders to win, hopefully the whole thing. And Dave had them last night as a client play and a free play, I believe. I just have to vent for a second about the fact that I had the over in back-to-back games where only one team scored.
Yeah.
I had the over in the Vegas Golden Knights game, should have got there with the amount of goals they scored. And then I had the over yesterday's game, could have at least gotten a push if one other team scored. Philadelphia couldn't quite get there. So back-to-back tough over.
Yeah, and I'm going to throw something to Dave in a second. But, the weird thing is I'm watching the Islanders game, and I do have a ticket on them. But, the Flyers pulled their goalie with just under 8 minutes left in that game when they had a face-off in the offensive zone, down 3-0, and then Taves scores a goal and an empty netter, and it's 4-0, and you're done. But I did talk to Buster yesterday because he had the Vegas over 5.5, and I said to him, if someone told you Vegas was going to score 5 goals and would you like to take the over 5.5, what would you do? And he said, I'd bet my house on it. It's one of those things that just happens, unfortunately, but when you only get scoring from one team. Before we go into these two games today, I want to talk to Dave about this Islanders-Philadelphia game yesterday. I know you like the Islanders. I think we all like the Islanders to a man, but they're just playing absolute lockdown defense. They just what is it? What is it with this team, Dave, that no one is giving them credit? Everyone, I'm watching people talk about, well, once they play a team like the Flyers are going to knock them out in 5.
I think it's going to be a good series. I don't think it's going to be that easy for the Islanders. They just keep beating Philadelphia, and they do match up against them. But Philadelphia is a well-coached team, and they've made nice adjustments. So I haven't really gotten into Game 2 yet. And, I know this is going to sound repetitive because I say it all the time. I don't give a damn about the series. I really, rarely, if ever, make series bets. I just focus one game at a time, and I'll worry about that game tomorrow. So I can't give you anything of substance on it because I really haven't looked at the game yet.
Yeah, one of the things, with regards to that, the series bets is I will look for odds like big ones, like this one, 40-1. It's not so much winning the cup; it's making a deep run where I can hedge out. If they get by the Flyers and face either Bruins or Tampa Bay, I'm going to be able to hedge out for a profit. So, that's one of those things. With regards,
yeah, I'm just not good at that.
Yeah.
So I decided several years ago. Actually, it's like you really suck at lining up futures. So why worry about it? So I completely stopped looking at that stuff. So I'll leave that to you guys.
All right, let's head to this first game. Let's get right to the board. Bruins, Tampa Bay. Obviously, the Bruins won that first game 3-2. I think the final score was a little closer than how that game may have played out. Lightning minus 115, Bruins minus 105. The over-under is 5.5, shaded minus 130 to the under. I'll go to you first, Andrew.
Well, I think the first thing I want to say, Carm, is that, when Tuukka Rask opted out, obviously has a newborn at home, has a family he wanted to get back to, didn't really seem like he was completely in it. We seem to see some people saying, I don't know what we're going to think about Halak. When I was saying on yesterday's show, I mean, his playoff numbers are equally as good. He's very experienced as well, and he's looked sharp. He's looking like someone that's going to be a backbone to this team. And, if we recall the way that this Boston Bruins team started playing at the beginning of the return to play, if you will, with their seeding games, they didn't look strong. But then when they started playing again, Brad Marchand said, this is the real stuff. The other stuff was just preseason. And it looks like they're really locked in. I mean, you give credit to this Islanders team for their defense and, their ability to keep the puck out of their own end. But it seems that Boston really is buying into the concept that they know how dangerous Tampa Bay can be and doing a great job of keeping the puck out of their own end. So I have to give credit to them for that. I think one thing we have to think about, though, is that although, like you said, it was kind of like garbage time goals, to use that kind of expression we use in basketball sometimes, it still counts, and I still think it gives momentum for Tampa Bay at the end of that first game. So looking at the odds here and looking at the numbers that we're getting with this one, I have to actually have a slight little lean here to Tampa Bay because I do like the fact that they ended that on a great note. And I feel like this will be quite a bit of a zigzag series, and this will go probably 6 or 7. So I have to look Tampa Bay here. I think they will bounce back. As much as have been telling myself I like Boston to win the series, and I think they've been very impressive to me. When I look at these odds and I look at the chances we're getting, still with Tampa Bay being the home team, getting the last change, putting their stick down the face-off dot, I still want to grab them here for a bounce-back spot.
Yeah, no, I get it. And before I throw it to Dave, just some quick hellos to the guys. And guys, hit that like button. We want to get more likes on this show than any of the ones that the Prez has done. Michael, Backdoor Cover, Brian Watson, Paulie C, G8 Pass, Dougie, Jake, Richie, Eric, Hector. I'll get to some of you. Natalie, Kate, Elliot, of course, Jordan. Welcome all to the show. Andrew, the one thing that, before I throw it to Dave, that still gets me is the big part of this team is missing, especially on that power play. It's Stamkos. You need Stamkos. Dave?
All right, so let's look at a couple of things here. Number one is, Tampa Bay did get a little momentum with the late push, but for 50 minutes of that game, overall, there were periods where Tampa played well, but Boston was the better team. Boston was a better playoff team last year, too. It might be something about the postseason where the Lightning, at this point, I'm kind of thinking this might be one of those teams that's built for 80 games, really good regular season team, not quite a veteran cast. And the one thing we've said about the Bruins all year, I hate saying that, the one thing we've said, the one thing I've said about the Bruins, is that when they get something out of something other than their first line, they're the best team in the league. If they start getting production out of their second and third lines, I don't really look at them as having a fourth line. They got guys that are out there, but if you compare that fourth line to the Golden Knights, it's not close. If they start getting production out of their second and third lines, and they get really tough to beat. And the first line, as we mentioned several times, this is a we, because I think we've agreed on this, is that it's the best two-way line in the league. It's just a great line. Bergeron is going to the Hall of Fame, not just because of his offense, good offensive player, but he's as good as it gets at the other end of the ice. Marchand is the ultimate pest, who also has a lot of talent, and Pastrnak is just a sniper. So that line's going to win most battles on most nights. And if the Bruins can get even production out of their second and third lines, they become an extremely tough team to beat. The other aspect here is, did they get addition by subtraction when Rask left? Now, his excuses might be fine, but I think we know from the comments that he'd made prior to his departure that he was struggling with the situation mentally. And you really don't want that out of your starting goaltender. I don't think that, look, if he was willing to say it to the press, then he was certainly, probably wasn't a secret to his teammates either. He leaves, and it kind of looks like they might be more together. So even though you lose something in terms of not having two good goalies and only one with Halak, he's fine. He's a 1A, basically. He might not be the best goalie in the league, but he's hardly a backup, if you want to call him that. I have trouble making a case for Tampa here. Situationally, they do have an edge, because I like playing teams one game down a game if it's fairly close, and I'll often look for the bounce back. You're not getting killed in the price here because it's roughly even money in that range. But I've got some fear about going against the Bruins right now, and I don't think I want to do it here. What I might wait for with Tampa is, I don't think they're going to. Well, if they lose tonight, I normally am one. If a team is down 2-0, I want to play them early in Game 3. But I got to tell you something. Tampa better win tonight, or they could check out mentally like they did against Columbus last year, where things went badly. They had the first game wrapped up, blew the second game, and then it was bye-bye, see you later. That they were just dead mentally. They better win this game. But I can't bet. I'm not willing to bet on them that they're going to do it.
Yeah, Dave. And to that point, because I agree with you. If you have a very good team, and these are two good teams that have lost the first two, I think they're a really good bet in that third game. Do you look at it that other game is tomorrow, and on a back-to-back, maybe with Halak in net, he's now playing 3 and 4 nights, and not to be the starter?
That could be. It could be a situation where if the Bruins win tonight, there's a little relaxing taking place early in Game 3, and you might be able to get a jump out of the gate with Tampa. But I have to see how the flow goes in this. So far, you haven't made any money betting teams down 2-0 in the first period of Game 3. I think it's even. I think there's been I think it's broken even with dogs, not with underdogs. I only do that if it's an underdog, and my guess is that if it's 2-0 here, it's not like that angle is now. A lot of people play it, so my guess is that if Tampa loses this game, they're going to come out the favorite in Game 3. So I might not get involved even then. I have to wait and see how it goes tonight. If the Bruins make another statement tonight, and I thought they did make a statement in Game 1, I would be worried about Tampa folding up the tent mentally.
To today's point about the depth of the Boston Bruins, I think that not even just creating actually goals, but I think just creating dangerous scoring opportunities from other lines besides line one really can separate things and help them kind of put more pressure defensively on those other lines to open things up for the first line. And I think that obviously we're not talking about this game right now, but just to go over yesterday, I think, Carm, that's what's happening right now to Colorado. They haven't really faced much adversity besides the injuries they've had this year. And now you look at it, McKinnon's playing out of his mind. Yeah. Kind of reminding me of McDavid. Where's his support?
Yeah, no, I get it. Before I forget, because as Dave was talking about, I thought about this, and in watching that Game 1 Boston Tampa, it just seemed like Tampa had a lot of ice, and I thought to myself, this is a lot more ice than they saw in that whole Columbus series, where Columbus just literally shut them down, and Tampa was able to eke out those 3-2 games. It's almost like they don't know what to do with the space they're getting. But I have to believe that this is a 6 or 7 game series, at least a 6 game series. But it's not going to go that way. If Boston wins tonight, this one could be done in 5.
No,
so.
Let me tell you, I would not be shocked if the Bruins win tonight. They might sweep them.
We love hockey, so I certainly hope not. And to the point of these two teams, just so you guys know, we are going to do a puck time on Saturday. The Boston Tampa Bay game goes at noon, so I believe that will likely be on air. I'll have to check with Johnny and Prez, but I believe they said 1 o'clock, but it's a noon game, so we may actually go at 11 o'clock in the morning for that puck time show. And Andrew and I have thrown around the idea of doing a live betting show. I'll leave it up to him once he's done with his upcoming surgery, which we wish him the best of luck on. Okay, guys, we're going to head to the second game. Please hit that like button if you guys are watching this. We need to beat the Prez's record. Let's get this over 100, guys. Smash that button. We're only at 50 right now, and there's 157 of you guys watching. Late game, 9:45 Eastern time. Vegas Golden Knights, Vancouver. Vegas minus 225. Vancouver plus 185. The total is 5.5, shaded to the over minus 130. Vegas really dominated game 1 of that series, winning 5-0. And I'm going straight to Dave here because if there's anyone who knows about the Vegas Golden Knights, it is you.
Yeah, that was a completely dominant performance. But I mean, Markstrom was under siege all night long. The Canucks didn't look like they belonged on the same ice with the Golden Knights. And Vancouver's going to have to make some major adjustments to have a chance in this series because they really don't match up well with the Golden Knights. Vancouver's got a lot of young talent, as we talked about several times throughout the course of the season. This is a team that kind of built for the future more than right now. Got to say, I was very impressed with the way they did things in the entry series against Minnesota, and the Canucks showed even more leading into this series. But now they're kind of in the major leagues, and they're in against a team that they have a physical matchup problem with because the Golden Knights are a big team, and they can skate, and the Canucks had a lot of problems dealing with them physically in Game 1. So Vancouver is going to have to find a way to get around these physical differences. I don't think they're capable of doing it. I think that the key for Vancouver tonight, one thing we know about them statistically is they've been good early in games. Sometimes they wear down. The Golden Knights can start slowly in games. First period was their worst period all year. Vancouver needs to really come out firing. If they don't, if Vancouver falls behind in this game, they're going to get crushed again. And this will end up being a quick series because the Golden Knights are playing the best hockey in the NHL right now. I don't think anybody can argue that. And I'm not saying that from Las Vegas. They just have been the best team in the playoffs. The Blackhawks series was a complete wipeout. They lost a game in which they overwhelmed Chicago in that game and somehow lost the game. And even in the round robin, where teams, let's face it, a lot of the teams weren't making a real focused effort. The Golden Knights were. So this team has been locked in from the moment they arrived at Edmonton, and I don't think that's going to change. Yeah. So Vancouver better come out hot tonight, or this could be straight downhill.
And that's the thing, and this is why I want to throw this one right back to you again, but for your opinion on this. But, when I look at some of the games that we've seen so far in the playoffs, and, we saw Montreal beat Philadelphia 5-0. We saw, the Isles beat Philly 4-0. But within those series, you knew that those games weren't indicative of the way that series was going. It just seems that 5-0 Vegas win is actually indicative of how this series is going to go, that Vegas is just that much better, that much more physical, and that they should make short work of Vancouver.
this team they're 23-6 with I think there were a couple of overtime losses. 23-6 since DeBoer arrived.
Which is not bad.
That's a pretty amazing record.
It is. I don't know if you want to touch on the whole Fleury thing with his agent.
He's the backup. It's the look. And his agent is an idiot. Okay, sorry, but that was a stupid thing to do on the part of his agent with that Photoshop thing. And fortunately, I think Fleury diffused the situation. He told his agent to get the thing off Twitter, and obviously spoke with his teammates. It's not the first time Fleury's ended up on the bench in the playoffs. He was on the bench watching a rookie, Matt Murray, play a few years ago with the Penguins. He'll handle it. Look, you got to go with. It's pretty simple. You got to go with the guy who's playing better. And it's.
I think it's more
Robert
so the
Leonard.
guy playing well, though, not like him playing bad.
No,
he didn't really play poorly. Leonard's just playing bad.
I got to tell you, I'm gonna have to disagree with that, and I think he had a legitimate excuse because apparently he and his dad were really close, and he was not good when he came back from the funeral and being home. He just wasn't. He wasn't himself.
Yeah, that was like five months ago.
I know, but the fact is, he hasn't played much since then. And I think the sharpness isn't there. I mean, to me, Robin Leonard's going to play every game, unless maybe they go up 3-0, and you put, or even 2-0. I don't, depending on how it goes here. Maybe you give Fleury a game to try and keep him sharp and get him some confidence. But generally speaking, you know how it goes in the NHL playoffs. You get the hot hand in goal, you just stay with it.
And the shutout right
and I agree with that. You do have to stay with the hot hand. I think the one thing that sort of made it, if you want to call it, a little bit worse was the fact that when Fleury did get in there, he played extremely well in that one game. So you start to think, you can't be rotating goalies. You go with the hot guy, and Lehner is definitely it. He's the hot hand.
I think Fleury might get a game in this series, particularly if it gets to 3-0. You might get him.
Andrew, your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I was on the over in game one. 5-0 result. Tough to see something like that happen. I'm going to go right back to the well with it once more. And, one of the reasons is just because of the way that I saw the third period play from Vancouver. I'm confident that, like you guys both said, and like Dave was saying, hats off to them for their playing round. Hats off to them against St. Louis. I thought the biggest difference between the St. Louis series and this series now is that the physical aspect didn't really get in their head against St. Louis, and now it really did against Vegas. I was kind of getting tired on the Canadian broadcast of seeing them pretty much nonstop, every single intermission and pre-show, post-show, talking about Ryan Reeves, because he did great, and I'm not going to take that away. He did his job. He does his job very, very well. But there has to be more things, spoken about guys like Jonathan Marchessault and Mark Stone for actually scoring the goals. It's more so, to me, not really good on Reeves, more so just bad on the Canucks for falling into that style. I think it was a horrible idea for Anton Roussel to be smack talking during warm-ups. When they're shooting around, he started the game off trying to play as if he was a Vegas Golden Knight player. I mean, it's the exact opposite way as the Vancouver Canucks want to play. They want to get out there and play pond hockey, and Vegas wants to go out there and play 1976 hockey.
Yeah.
It's completely different, and I think Anton Roussel really screwed them over with just before the puck even dropped. With that. But looking in the third period, the way Vancouver really picked it up, I expect them to come out stronger. I expect them to fire more shots and just have a little more fun out there. They looked very uptight, looked very nervous. And I got to give some credit as well to the forecheck guys for this Vegas Golden Knights team, because they're a very veteran-based team, and they have some age, but they definitely don't lack speed. I mean, they will, run 3 lines at you, 4 lines most of the time, and really make life tough for you. I'm in a few fantasy hockey pools, and it wasn't anything to do with picking a bunch of players on different teams. You just went around, and it was a draft. You could pick as many as you wanted on one team. And I made sure to get my licks in on the Golden Knights. I have both Marchessault and Mark Stone, and I think they're going to go deep. So I'm going back on the over 5.5, Carm. That's kind of just where I'm going to go here with this one. I'll probably look for an in play. If this game starts low, just like I did with the Boston Bruins game, I'll look for the in-game over. I did make a prop bet, but maybe I can get to the prop bets at the
all right,
end of the show.
we're nearing that end of the show. It is $2 Tuesday at WagerTalk. I actually do not know who the $2 guy is. I tried to look it up. It's usually up by noon, so apologies, but it will be up soon, both at WagerTalk and Sports Memo. And of course, that's the best day of the week in which you can get selected handicappers play for $2 on that day. Speaking of plays, Andrew, Dave, we'll go to Dave first. What do you have loaded for today?
I haven't done my baseball yet, but I do have the one hockey play up for tonight. And baseball, there won't be much. I probably only have one baseball game. That'll be up later, and we'll see what happens as far as the free plays.
All right, Andrew.
That's going to be one NBA package for me up at the website, and 2 NHL looks, one stronger play, and 2% look for all access clients. And if you take a look at the $2 Tuesday featured handicapper at WagerTalk, you'll get a little bit of a coupon for myself.
And listen, guys, Dave says it all the time, and I know Gianni the Greek says it all the time as well too. And this is applicable to a guy like Andrew, or myself, where you have 2 or 3 bad days, but long term, we have winning years. Is you got to buy Dave's long-term package. You have to buy Andrew's long-term package. The reason being is if you're looking for that short-term blue pill, it doesn't work. If you want to win long-term, that's the way to do it. Dave releases sometimes NHL plays that are just client plays because he gets information at 6 o'clock in the evening, 6:30 in the evening Eastern time, and instead of putting it up for sale, he just sent it out to his clients. Is that am I right here, Dave?
Well, not now, but during the regular season, yeah.
So
because in the regular season, I'm very lineup dependent. I will not make a bet in the NHL in the regular season until I know who's playing goal, and also I like that morning skate information. Playoffs, a little different story.
All right, guys, Richie Rich, Brian, Jay Cool, AJ, guys, thanks for tuning in. 83 likes, we can get that up to 100. We'll be back tomorrow. Prez will be hosting. I'll be off the next couple days. But we'll be back on Friday. I've got contractors at my house, and as Dave and Andrew will tell you, you can hear the noise through my mic pretty badly, so I don't want you guys to have to hear what we're hearing when it's going here. But, best of luck to all you guys out there. Thank you for...
Can I get 3 prop bets?
Go ahead.
Carm? Just this is one that worked really well for the Vegas Golden Knights one. I was on it when their game 1, and I think Tampa Bay in a bounce back spot. Everything will be going on net. Most books allow this wager, so I'd really recommend it. Tampa Bay shots on goal over 30.5. So the Tampa Bay entire team combined shots over 30.5, and I have Jonathan Marchessault to get a point on the board at -165. And I have Andre Palat, anytime goal scorer, plus 300.
All right. There you go, guys. The 3 prop bets from Andrew on Puck Time. Boston, Tampa, Vancouver, Vegas tonight, guys. Let's hope you all make money. Hit your books and hit that like button. Again, thanks for tuning in, guys, and we'll see you all tomorrow.